everyone, and welcome back for another edition of BNEWS Sports Hub. I'm your host, Liz Gillespie. This month, we headed down to the BHS rubber gym to catch up with the boys' varsity gymnastics team. We'll have a discussion with head coach Jourdan Marino and captains Sam Gillis and Anthony Semeraro. We also have the Red Devil Review with Robert Paris and our player spotlight. That's all right here, right now, on this month's BNEWS Sports Hub. To jumpstart our discussion, we will offer you a little refresher of some of the highlights from 2019 fall season. Now we go to BNEWS sports reporter Robert Paris for Red Devil Review.
Hey everyone, I'm Robert Paris for your Red Devil Review. As we are all heading into the winter sports season, I want to take a few minutes to look back at some of the accomplishments of the Red Devils' fall season. Junior James Johnson had a good season on the boys' cross-country team. He came in third place for his efforts in the Middlesex League Freedom Division 12 Championship meet and the MIAA District 3 Championship, where he qualified to the All-State Championship in Gardner, where he finished in 13th place. Junior Sean Malone and senior Trevor Janis represented the Burlington golf team as they competed in the Division 2 North Golf Tournament in West Boxford. During the tournament, Malone and Janis each came in at +9 over par, putting them well in the top half of all competitors. Girls swimming received a Special Sportsmanship Award from the MIAA for supporting each other through the season, including a teammate who has suffered a brain tumor but persevered in the pool despite the extra challenge that presented. The plaque says, "In recognition of high standards of ethics and integrity in interscholastic athletics." Congratulations on this fantastic accomplishment to the Lady Devils. BHS volleyball made it to the playoffs once again after finishing with a 16-4 record under first-year coach Cassandra Blum. The team season ended after getting knocked off by Danvers. The girls did host a special fundraiser game in honor of Cassandra's sister, who is a cancer survivor, that raised $6,400 towards the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Also, 3 seniors from the girls' varsity volleyball have been named League All-Stars: senior Lindsay Baxter, Krista Magnarelli, and Kelly Joyce. Joyce has also been named the co-MVP of the league. The Lady Devils cheerleading team went to the state championship at Worcester State in November. Burlington finished 4th place out of 14 teams. BHS football would be losing some key players from the 2019 roster. Most notably, quarterback Kyle Pena will be hanging up his helmet for the Red Devils. This season, a number of players garnered special recognition. Quarterback Pena, wide receiver Sean Pinkham, and offensive/defensive tackle Ray Magliosi earned the Middlesex League All-Star recognition. Pinkham was also one out of the 2 receivers to earn All-Conference on offense. One final note on football: junior Sean Pinkham ended the season strong when he was named the Owls Thanksgiving Day Player of the Game for his 56-yard touchdown reception. And last but not least, 9 athletes from various BHS teams headed to Gillette Stadium in November to attend the 26th Annual Sportsmanship Summit, where they were presented with the MIAA District B Sportsmanship Award. The plaque says, "Awarded in recognition of high standards of ethics and integrity in interscholastic athletics. Leadership by example becomes a model for all." Congratulations to the Red Devils on all their fall sports accomplishments. That is all for your Red Devil Review. I'm Robert Paris. Back to you, Liz.
Thank you, Robert. Now let's talk about gymnastics. I'm here with Coach Marino. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well today. How are you?
I'm good. So, first of all, what got you involved in gymnastics?
Well, in the mid-'90s, when I was a student at the Marshall Simons Middle School, my phys ed teacher, Mr. Bazuski, he had an activity block where they would meet twice a week, last period of the day, and it was gymnastics. And so I did it just to do pull-ups, but Mr. B insisted that I did more than just pull-ups. And so he started training me in gymnastics, and before I knew it, 3 years had passed. I became a freshman, and I joined the team.
Nice.
So after 4 years of being on the team, I graduated high school and became an assistant coach, and I've been doing it since then.
Was he the coach at the high school when you were here too?
So yes, when I was in the middle school, he was the assistant coach. And after I graduated high school, Rick Hayes, who was the head coach, had retired. So Mr. B became the head coach, and I became his assistant.
What's it like working with him now?
It's really it's a fun experience. I'm always learning from him. You know, he was my coach. He was my teacher in middle school and my coach throughout high school. And you know, he's been teaching longer than I have. And there's always something to learn from him. So it's a mentorship.
So do you coach anywhere else or just here at the high school?
Yeah, you know, I for a bunch of years I coached at Yellow Jackets in Middleton and Brestrians in Burlington, and I helped Jim Street out from time to time in Wilmington. So I'm still very active, but it's more part-time now because I'm a full-time teacher.
Cool. You run the gymnastics camp over the summer, right? Too?
Yeah, for the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department.
Cool.
We have a program that's been going on for over 35 years through the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department that runs during the summer. It's a day program that goes from 8:30 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon, and high school gymnasts who are on the high school gymnastics team are the coaches.
Oh, nice.
And they work with the elementary school kids and kids in middle school, and you know, raise awareness and kind of introduce them to gymnastics.
That's a great experience.
Yeah.
So, speaking of experience, what's been your favorite experience?
My favorite experience is usually the alumni meet. It's the beginning of the season for us. It's our first meet. The judges come in. We have a bunch of kids who've never competed before. We kind of work the jitters out. We kind of, break them in, so to speak, to compete.
Nice.
And then all the old alumni come back, and it's good to see them and you know, to hear the memories and know how much gymnastics meant to them. And so they come back, once a year, and we get to see them.
Nice.
Yeah.
When's the alumni meet this year?
The alumni meet is December 20th. It's the Friday before Christmas.
Cool.
It's at 7 o'clock at the Burlington High School. It's kind of in the rubber gym.
Nice.
And we open the curtain up, and it's about an hour and a half. So it's open to the public. Doesn't cost anything. You get there early. You can see everyone warm up, and it's a good time.
It's fun. So you teach 8th grade science.
I teach 8th grade science at the Marshall Simons. That's
nice. Right. So how is that different than coaching high school boys?
First, the age demographic is much different. But in a lot of ways, it's not that different because I get a handful of students who I previously had in middle school. And so, you continue your student-teacher relationship in a different place, even though it's coach and athlete oriented. But it's they're kind of similar, but it's a different type of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any freshmen that join the team just because they had you in 8th grade?
From time to time, yeah. We have a freshman that fits that exact criteria, and we had a good time last year. He was a good student of mine. Nice. And now he's on the team, and he's working really hard, and we're maintaining that teacher-student relationship, but in a different constructive type of way.
Yeah. So you went 4-4 last year in the regular season. 2 losses from Newton and other 2 from Attleboro. What was your take on losing to those teams twice?
Newton was a very, very strong team. They had some athletes who worked gymnastics year-round, which is always a difficult thing to compete against because more often than not, our athletes, they train 12 weeks during the winter, and then they're off to basketball, they're off to a spring sport, and then during the summer, they're working jobs and doing other things, and then during the fall, when they come back, they're involved in fall sports. Yeah. And so when we only get them for 12 weeks a year, it's difficult to compete against teams that have more year-round gymnasts. But we last year was interesting season. We certainly had some losses, but as the year went on, our scores improved.
Nice. So how are you planning to improve this season?
So this year is an interesting year. We have everyone's returning back from last year, practically, except our seniors. We didn't lose many seniors, but we lost some good ones. Yeah, we have a couple. We have 2 or 3 young freshmen who came in, but the bulk of the team is everyone who knows what to expect of themselves, knows what we expect.
That's important.
Yeah, it is. And right now at this point, leading into winter break, we've picked up where we left off last year.
Nice.
And the earlier that happens, the better.
That's great.
Yeah.
So What are practices like?
So with the later school, with the later start time, the kids are starting their warm up at 3:30. Before we used to start at about 2:20.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of sensitive to the fact that we got to get those kids out of there. They got to do their job and they got to get out of there and go home and do the homework. Mm-hmm. And so different start time has kind of affected us in a different way, but we just approach it at a different angle.
Yeah.
And the kids come in, they warm up, and we get to their events and we do the strength and conditioning, and we just kind of follow the same format every day with different events.
Okay. Have there been any cancellations to meets or practices?
So far this year, we lost the first 2 days of the season,
Ooh.
which is, the kids are excited. They have a countdown. Mr. B and I have a countdown. All right, like it's time to get to work, roll up our sleeves and go. Let's wait one more day. Okay, now we're coming back. It's the second day, and then we had another snow day. But, it's for the safety of the kids, and so I understand that. So we just had that mild setback, but we're back on track now.
Gotta love snow days. So what do you like reschedule them or anything, or just like?
So in that circumstance early in the season, it's just move on and just keep going. Make up for a little bit of lost time, but it's not too significant.
Yeah, it's an indoor sport, so it's not like.
Yeah, we overcome it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what do you do during practices to like help develop skills and stuff?
So during practices. At this point now, we're going to start putting routines together.
Nice.
The biggest thing is we get the kids on the equipment. They get the strength to do whatever event they're on by just getting on the equipment, taking turns, working skills. Soon, at this point now, we're going to start putting those skills together and start building routines, which means that the athletes have to build the endurance to be able to last for an entire routine.
Of course.
Without huffing and puffing, muscle fatigue. And so soon we'll be making that change into doing full routines.
So like, how do you create routines? Do you just like string different like things to do that you do together? Or
yeah. So
I don't know the word for it.
It's okay. So in gymnastics, you're judged on a 1 to 10 scale.
Yeah.
Basically, if you do 10 skills on the piece of equipment in a row, you're going to get a 6.0. Every skill that you do that's worth more points, you get added to that 6.0.
Oh, cool.
So if you have full difficulty, and there are different rules for every piece of event, if you fulfill those requirements to the maximum, your start value, the highest you can score, is a 10.0.
Nice.
And so as they learn the basic fundamental routine, okay, now you can compete. And as the season progresses and they get stronger, they learn those skills that are worth more points.
Nice.
And so they go from a 6.0 to a 7.0. 7.5 or 8.5, and then
awesome.
And then you minus whatever deductions they get.
Of course.
And that's what they get. That's the score that you see flashed at the meet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like, how long are practices?
Practice starts at 3:30, and we go till plus or minus 5:30, depending on how the athletes feel, and how tired they are, and how close we are to a meet.
Yeah.
And how hard they've been working. Sometimes we want to get them out early the day before a meet, because we just want them to get in, touch the equipment real quick, and what they have is what they have. So we don't try to pull any stunts the day before a meet, and we get them out of there, get them home to rest. Then after the competition, the following practice, we review everything good and bad that went at the meet, and we start doing repair.
Nice. Yeah. Do you practice like every day, or at least when you don't have a meet?
Well, we practice 5 days a week, unless we have a meet. And in the instance we have a meet, we have a meet that day, and practice is just 4 days.
Yeah. So how often are meets?
Meets are pretty much every week, starting the second week in January. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but yeah, we play each team twice, and so it keeps us busy, and it gives us that measurable that measurable feedback of the judges giving them scores, and then going back and trying to adjust what they felt did wrong to correct it for the next meet.
Of course. So what kind of strength training do you promote?
So in a lot of ways, the strength training is not so much weightlifting, but more being able to lift the gymnast's own weight. So a lot of push-ups, a lot of handstands, a lot of pull-ups, a lot of rope climbing.
Of course.
A lot of things that involve them maneuvering their body in a repetition type of way. That's usually the most, we've gotten a lot of success from training that way.
Nice. Yeah. Kind of replicates what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. If someone is specifically working parallel bars, they'll do a lot of strength and conditioning on the parallel bars.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, right? And so some of those things, transfer because a handstand on the parallel bars isn't much different than a handstand on rings. And so it's important that we focus in on those things. And there are specific strength and conditioning things that we do that are specific to required skills. For example, the handstand.
Yeah.
Because a handstand on rings is a requirement. And so, they have to hold it for 3 seconds, but at practice, they're holding it for 30 seconds or a minute.
Oh, wow.
And then when the meet comes around, 3 seconds isn't that much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So how big is the team?
So this year we have just over a dozen kids. We're around 15 right now. We got a couple managers.
Nice.
And they're part of the team as well. And those are the numbers we have right now. A little bit lower than what we've usually had, but it's a good number for us for Mr. B and I to kind of be able to spread out and kind of cover everything. Yeah.
So how do you decide who competes at what during a meet?
So, we have 2 kids who are all-around gymnasts, which means they do all 6 events.
Nice.
And then
good for them.
we're able to put 6 kids on each event.
Oh, wow.
And so if there's 2 all-arounds, that leaves 4 spots open. Some kids are specialists and only want to work 1 or 2 events. Other kids work several events. Some kids aspire to be an all-around gymnast. And so since we can't put them in as an all-around, we're able to use them where we feel their score is going to help us.
Nice.
And so we find their strengths, we see where they're getting stronger, and then maybe we start suggesting other events, and so they become a little bit more versatile to us.
Cool. So how many events are there?
There are 6 events. There's a floor, pommel horse, high bar, P-bars, rings, and vault.
Nice. A little bit different. Do you guys have tryouts?
No, we don't really have tryouts. The kids kind of come in, we kind of give a layout of what our expectations are and what the season looks like. And sometimes for people coming out for the team, they see some of the older kids and it's a bit intimidating.
Yeah.
I remember when I was going on the team, and, seeing the juniors and seniors doing all these things, I'm thinking to myself, geez. And so, the important thing is that when it comes to tryouts, that the kids are doing well in school. So, we don't lose them to that.
Yes.
And they have the desire to be there. Their bodies are in the gym. First one in, last one out type of mentality. And usually, instead of tryouts, what kids aren't as interested,
yeah,
they kind of disappear.
Do you get kids with the majority of kids? Do they have a background in gymnastics already, or do you teach people how to start?
I'd say greater than 95% of our participants, since I've been doing it, have no background.
Wow.
Yeah. So Mr. B and I, we take them from the first day they walk in the gym. Can you walk in a straight line and go from there?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I've watched some of the videos on Twitter about how just watching them do stuff and thinking, wow, I could never do that. And I've never guessed that they're just starting out.
Yeah, and you have to remember that the ones that are just starting out, they're working basic skills and they're getting together basic routines. And then, the ones that you see doing all those maneuvers and skills are upperclassmen. Their previous experiences were 2 or 3 years of the 12 weeks a year of gymnastics with us.
Nice. So you have 4 regular season games at home this year. Newton North, Lowell, Attleboro, and a tri-meet with Lowell and Braintree. What's that going to be like?
So the home meets are always fun because, every team wants that hometown advantage.
Of course.
With gymnastics, it's a little bit different than, say, basketball or wrestling, where the equipment is mostly the same, regulation and such. But with gymnastics, high bars have different textures and the mats have different landings, because a lot of emphasis put on your landings.
Yeah.
Landing with your feet sticking that landing and not moving, you get deductions for extra steps. And so when the gymnasts are used to their own mats at home, they have that response. It's just a different feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
And so having that hometown advantage is good. But sometimes it can be a little difficult if we've had a handful of home meets and then go away.
Oh, yeah.
Because then it's that mental toughness that overcomes the fact that this high bar is a little different. This pommel horse has a different texture to it. Yeah.
Nice. So what are your plans for the 2020 season?
So the 2020 season, to do better than the 2019 season. We, as I said before, we did well in 2019. Every meet we scored higher. And so, as I said before, with practices and the gymnasts, we want to pick up where we left off. So what would be ideal is our first meet this year, the alumni meet, is to try is the best we can to score as close as to our highest score last year.
Nice.
And if we could do that, that's going to be very good.
Nice.
That's very good.
So how exactly do meets like run? Can you have like multiple events running at once?
So if, for example, when we have a tri meet coming up in a couple weeks, 2 events will go at the same time. We'll have 2 judges.
Nice.
Generally, when we have a meet where it's just 2 teams, all of one team will go on floor exercise, and then they'll be done, and then the other team will go and do their routines, and then we'll all together move to the next event.
Nice.
Yeah, and so six gymnasts will go up, and they'll be done, and the next 6 gymnasts will go up, and then they'll be done.
Nice. Do you get scores like immediately, like right after you do it?
Yep. So the gymnasts will compete. They'll finish the routine. They'll salute the judge, and then sometime between 5 seconds to 25 seconds later, the score is out, flashed, and the next kid's going. Yeah, the judges have had great experience, long time experience doing this, and they're really good at getting those scores.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
So why do you guys salute?
So several reasons.
Okay.
Reason number 1, to let the judge know we're starting.
Okay.
Okay, because sometimes you get in gymnasts who are a little jumpy, and they just start competing, and the judges, it's a formality of saying I'm about to begin. It's like a referee blowing the whistle, starting the quarter.
All right.
Another reason is kind of just like it's a respect thing, where you respect the referees, you respect the judges, you honor the sport. It's a presentation sport. And so it kind of is the first impression. Here I am. I'm about to show off a routine that I've been practicing, and I'm standing up straight. You present yourself nice, and it's the first thing the judge seizes and starts judging.
Oh yeah.
You look like a slob, standing on the corner of the floor and raising your arm up with a bent arm and not looking at the judge in the eye. The judge is going to think to themselves, okay, let's see what's about to happen here.
That's a little iffy.
Versus, and it's a confidence thing too.
Yeah.
The kid steps out on the floor, their chin up and their shoulders back. They raise their arm nice and straight. They look the judge square in the eye. And the judge is going to be like, oh, okay, this kid's serious here. Let's see what we got. And the whole routine should carry on that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of meets, do you just add all of the scores from everyone together? Is that what the final score is?
Almost. We go 6 gymnasts per event.
Yes.
And the top 4 scores are the scores that count.
Okay.
So when we put them up, so if you're watching high bar, first kid up on high bar, second kid goes all the way up to the 6th kid. The 6th kid will always be who we feel as coaches will score the highest.
Okay.
And the scores will kind of reverse that way. So the first gymnast you see compete on an event is generally the one who hasn't scored the highest.
Okay.
And so and they go in order from the lowest scorer to the highest scorer. And so with every meet that passes, there's a lineup change all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes a gymnast won't score as well, or sometimes a gymnast who went 3rd or 4th outscored the 5th or 6th.
Oh yeah.
And so they move up. And so it becomes like a little bit of a competition within the team. Yeah.
Friendly rivalry. It's all good.
That's right.
Speaking of rivalries, do you have any team rivalries that you really want to beat?
Geez, it's tough. I feel like it goes in spurts. Every couple of years, you get teams that are rebuilding, and so they're no longer as much of a threat as they were years before that. Attleboro has produced really good gymnasts. They're mentally strong, and physically they're very strong.
Wow.
They're throwing big skills. They have an excellent coach, and the facility they train in is a really good facility, and so they often produce some good gymnasts. And so
nice.
Sometimes we've come within tenths.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, tenths of a point. It will be like 136.5 to 136.3.
Oh, my God.
And so those are the meets that are the most stressful, but the most fun.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to competing with them. Yeah.
Awesome. So what are you looking forward to as far as player impact?
The biggest thing the pressure really is on the seniors.
Oh, of course.
And what kind of impact they have on the team, both, in here, both in here and, on the equipment. They have a lot to offer the underclassmen by a leadership role and, the way they talk to them.
Yes.
And leading by example. Yeah, so that's probably the biggest impact that we can expect and hope for.
Do you guys, do you guys have a senior meet?
So our senior meet's generally our last home meet.
Nice. So what kind of equipment do you guys use?
So we use the same equipment every year, with the exception of mats that get old and beaten up, and we got to bring in new ones. But we have new P bars and new rings.
Nice.
That we got a couple years ago. So they're state of the art, brand new.
Ooh,
they're looking good.
Very nice.
Yep, and like the pommel horse and the high bar and the vault and the floor. It's the same equipment we've had for a while. And that's kind of what we have to work with.
Do you guys share time with like the girls?
So the girls have been practicing at a different time than us, 3 out of the 5 days, and so often we have the gym to ourselves.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and then on 2 days a week the girls are practicing at the same time, and so we have to kind of, the boys and the girls both use floor and vault, and so we just kind of strategically kind of work through that. Girls have 4 events and we have 6, so we have a little bit more to choose from to kind of avoid overpopulating an event.
Yeah, of course. So how are the freshmen this year?
The freshmen are excited. We have one kid who's never done gymnastics before.
Oh.
Which is exciting. He's got an open mind. He's working really hard, and he's even the upperclassmen are kind of oh, look at this kid. He's hungry. He wants to get better. And then we have another kid who did gymnastics through the recreation department.
Oh yeah.
For years.
Oh nice.
Yeah, and so he's doesn't have a strong history, but he has a long history of gymnastics.
Oh yeah.
And in that gym with me and with some of the other athletes, and so he's kind of at home, but in a different format now, where he's working harder and for a longer period of time, and things are much more serious now.
He's got to be more dedicated now.
Yeah. So we have 2 different type of freshmen, different type of experiences, who are offering a lot to the team.
Nice.
So it's good. Yeah.
So, what's the most challenging thing about coaching gymnastics?
The most challenging thing about coaching gymnastics is getting the kids to come to every practice. And there could be a lot behind that. But generally speaking, these kids are involved in all kinds of things, which we support. And so managing that time among theater or extra clubs, extracurricular activities, personal sports they do outside. Winter season they're skiing and snowboarding and other things, and so helping them, guide them, managing their time wisely is probably the most difficult thing.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. So gymnastics is kind of like a stressful sport to watch because you're always scared of of injuries and stuff. So do you have an injury prevention type plan that you have to follow, or?
So everyday practice is an injury prevention plan.
Oh yeah.
Everything that they do and all the new skills that they learn, everything's done in progression.
Of course.
And so when things do go wrong, and they usually do go wrong, especially learning, they've learned the progression and they have done the numbers enough to know if they fall, how they're going to fall, where they're going to fall, so that when it happens, they're not opening up their eyes going, how the heck did I land over here?
Yeah. So how many seniors did you graduate last year?
I believe we graduated 3 seniors last year.
Did that heavily impact the team?
Yeah, we had a couple of kids that were just ringers. And we had this one all-around. Who was just unbelievable. The kid was a monster.
Wow.
And he loved gymnastics. He had a little bit of a history, and he was just soaring, and he was just getting better. And it was like the end of the season, he just kept getting better. It's like, Jesus, the season was another 3 weeks. This kid, so it's always painful. It's always a sore subject, to talk about the seniors from last year, because it's like, if we had them for one more year.
Oh yeah.
And this is a conversation every year. What grade are you in? What grade are you in? And then the kids that answer, I'm a senior. It's like, oh man, really? We want them one more year.
And you hear your juniors, and you're like, yes, I got you for another one.
They come in as freshmen. We only have them for 4 years.
Yeah. That can be hard. So how do you decide captains?
Captains is a tough thing to do. It depends on how many kids are on the team. And captains aren't always seniors. Mm-hmm. And usually it comes down to Mr. B and I kind of voting for one, electing one captain, and then the kids vote for another one. If it's a bigger team, we'll have more captains, but generally we have 2 captains.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's not like a senior thing where every senior is a captain.
Oh, yeah.
You know, often seniors are captains because they've done it the longest and they're most mature.
Yes, of course.
Respectively speaking. And that's kind of usually how it happens.
All right, nice. So, let's see. The alumni match is old versus new.
Hey, retired
That's
versus
what it says
new.
here.
No, I don't know. It's not supposed to say old. We're supposed to change that. Who wrote old?
So, what's it like going up against your team? I'm not calling you old, by the way.
This is my first year not competing as an alumni. So I competed as an alumni. I would come back and actually would train with the kids and did gymnastics.
Nice.
And I was supposed to stop when I turned 30. And so I stopped. Last year was my last year competing. But, you know, having my team compete against, you know, the other kids, it's interesting. It's a fun rivalry because, you know, the kids who graduated love the trash talk. You know,
Oh, of
they're
course.
walking a little bit different. There's no stress. They show up in their, you know, their basketball shorts and their college T-shirt, and that's, you know, there's a bit of entitlement that's deserved.
Yes.
And then you got these middle, you know, you got these high school kids who are kind of, some of them are shaking in their uniforms, and then, you know, it's an educational meet, and so it's fun to take it at the value of the fact. Look at the kids that we're going to compete against. You know, they're done, they're retired, but
Yeah.
you're going to learn stuff from them. They're very comfortable out there. They've been doing this for years.
Do any of them like still do gymnastics and like prepare for this meet, or
Um,
just kind of walk in?
A couple
and
of
just
them.
be like,
Sometimes we get some alumni coming in because they're smart and they want to kind of train for a couple days before the meet.
Yeah.
Because you know, as you get older, it's not like riding a bike.
Yeah.
No one says it's like doing gymnastics.
Oh yeah. No, like I wouldn't watch someone do a flip and just be like, oh, easy.
Yeah, no. There's a reason why they don't do that.
Yeah.
Or shouldn't.
So, what kind of uniforms do you guys wear?
So uniform is like a wrestling uniform. You know,
Ah.
it's like shorts attached to a tank top, and then we wear shorts over those shorts. You know, on high bar and P bars and pommel horse and rings, they wear pants and socks.
Oh.
And on floor and vault, they wear shorts. Yeah, and no socks.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's kind of similar to wrestling.
Nice. Is there anything else that I didn't ask about that you want to talk about, or?
Oh, you got some good questions. Those were really good questions. Did you have a gymnast or a past gymnast come up with those?
I think I had one of my friends ask a couple, but I think those were kind of more for the captains.
Those are good questions.
So,
No, those are.
I did write a bunch of these though.
Those are well, good job.
Thank you.
Those are great questions. I don't think there's any stone left unturned.
Thank
No.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Let's take a look at this month's edition of the Player Spotlight with Captain Sam Gillis and Anthony Semeraro, who will be joining us later in the show.
I'm Anthony Semeraro.
I'm Sam Gillis, and this is the BNEWS Sports Hub Player Spotlight.
Freshman year, one of the seniors talked me into the sport, and it seemed pretty interesting. It was different. It seemed fun. Seemed like a challenge, so I was all into it. So.
At the time, my cousin was the captain, and it just seemed very interesting. It's something I've never really done before, but it just seemed like it was going to be good cross-training.
It takes a lot of conditioning and a lot of practice, and they all judge on like how you look. But the easiest part's probably just working together and just getting everyone like to get into it, and it's fun. Yeah.
I agree with Anthony on the aspect of just keeping everyone together, because as you can win as an individual sport, the biggest thing is just our team score, and everyone's score counts, and it's all going to add up in the end. So just making sure everyone's doing what they need to do at practice and just making sure they're getting their stuff done is most important to us.
Well, we always got to keep them on task, got to keep them focused, and if they fool around, we always got to be on top of that. We just got to be a leader to them, so to make them look up to us, and just we need to be role models for them.
In the past, we've always had kind of the same amount of kids per each grade, but we have a large senior class this year, so the freshmen and the underclassmen are just doing a great job keeping up with the guys who've been doing the sport for quite a while, rather than coming in with no experience whatsoever. And there's only a couple of them, so it's good that they're all doing their best. I'm definitely going to miss just being in the gym during the season. It's definitely become just a fun part because it's something unlike really any other sport that you can do. We have a very diverse group of guys. They've all different sports in their other seasons or just no sports at all. And it's just good to get everyone together.
For the last season, we always want to give it our all, and we always want to try our hardest. And as a senior, we always want to just really do our best and try to give ourselves a ring this season. So that's the goal.
When they started as freshmen, we had seniors, we had juniors, and really where it starts is they come into the program and you look up to the upperclassmen. They had outstanding upperclassmen when they were younger. So when they shifted into a role where they were going to start becoming upperclassmen, they already knew what our expectations were for them as a team and as leaders. Now here we are years later, they're seniors, they're about to leave us at the end of the season, and they've stepped into the leadership role. One of the biggest things I'm going to miss from them, like any other upperclassmen, is the beginning of every year. The beginning of every year for different stages of the athlete pan out differently. For Sam and Anthony and among the other seniors, they come in already in shape. They're hitting the weight room, they're running, sometimes they're doing a fall sport. They come in here and it's kind of like they hit the ground running. They're not starting from ground zero. They're not starting from scratch. And so often we look forward to seeing the upperclassmen a week in already, picking up where they left off last year. Their leadership roles is another thing I'm going to miss because you only get that from being in the gym for a few years. Those are the biggest things I'll miss.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
And we're back with captains Anthony and Sam. How are you guys?
Good, thanks.
How are you?
I'm good. So how did you guys get into gymnastics?
Well, his cousin, Anthony Pictrisi, he got me into it by just telling me all about how different it is from every other sport, and it seemed like a challenge to me, so I was all into it.
Nice.
I pretty much had the same experience, and Mr. B would always bother us when we were in middle school saying, you gotta come to do gymnastics, and I never really thought it was gonna happen, but we just had a good 4 years, and it's still going.
Nice. Did you guys start when you got to high school or anything before that?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So what's your favorite thing about gymnastics?
Just a challenge. I like learning new things. I like being challenged. I like just being that person that just likes to go above and beyond and just doing whatever. So
I just like how different it is than any other sport. You really get to work every muscle and every different group of just any aspect of the sport.
Yeah. So you guys do any other sports or just gymnastics?
I just do gymnastics.
Nice.
We both played football in the fall before, but we didn't play this year, and I'm playing lacrosse in the spring.
Nice. Do those sports help you with gymnastics, or?
I think gymnastics help the other sports a lot more.
Oh, yeah. So what kind of responsibilities do you guys have as captains?
We just need to keep the whole team on task, keep them focused, make sure they're not sitting around. We just got to keep them moving the whole time and make sure that they're doing what's supposed to do.
Yeah, we have to make sure the morale's up, because once one kid starts quitting and just sitting on the side, then someone else sits next to him, then the whole gym's not doing anything, and we're already low on numbers, so we need everyone doing everything what we can in the gym.
Is 15 like a low number for the team now?
We've had around 20 the last couple of years.
Oh, nice.
We managed with 15, so.
Cool. You only need 6 people for.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Do you guys feel pressured as captains, or?
I don't. No. I'm just there to just make sure everyone's doing what's supposed to do, just keep everyone on task, and just there's not much pressure. Just be their friend and just be open to them.
Just a part of the team.
Yeah.
Same with you?
Not exactly. Just definitely doing all the conditioning and just being in the front and calling out how many reps we're doing, everything. I definitely want to make sure I'm able to do anything and not letting anyone down, because if I can't do it, then I shouldn't be yelling at other kids to do it. So definitely have to make sure
That makes sense.
I have everything down.
So do you guys only do gymnastics during this season, or do you guys do it outside as well?
I do a little bit outside. I like to just do some workouts just to warm up and stay in shape.
Same with you?
I do like the summer program, and I get in the gym when I can, but no organized gymnastics.
Oh, okay. So what are you guys looking forward to this season?
Honestly, just seeing how the team's going to do, because we're looking very good this year, so I want to see how far we're going to go.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to going to Newton.
Got a rivalry
Absolutely.
there?
I want to beat Newton.
Nice. So what events do you guys compete in?
I'm an all-around, so I just do all of them.
Nice.
I'll probably be competing floor, pommel, and vault this year.
Nice. What's your favorite event to compete in?
Easily floor. Just being able to just go up and do crazy tricks and flips is always fun. So.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like them all, but I like pommel and floor.
Nice. Do you guys ever wish you had floor music?
Not really, no, because I like the quietness. I like to stay focused on what I'm trying to do. So.
Nice. Centered. Nice. So what's your least favorite event to compete in?
I'd say high bar, because it really hurts your hands a lot. But I mean, you get over it. But
Is that what the chalk? Or no, the chalk's for sweating, right?
no, the chalks, yeah, kind of. But it's also just like keep your hands like nice and to move around like things easier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would just kind of say the same. Well, I'm kind of more high bar, just kind of between like shoulders and hands.
Oh yeah. So what is like the hardest events that you compete in?
The hardest is definitely high bar. It's just hard to learn new tricks on there because you just gotta flip your body around, just do whatever you can, and it just puts a toll on your body too.
Yeah.
So.
I would just say it's kind of different with everyone. Some kids find different events easier than others. Some kids will just hop on the floor rather than ever do any events that just kind of cross.
Yeah. So for you, like, what's the hardest like skill that you have to learn?
The hardest skill is probably giants on high bar because you need to put your whole body all the way around the bar, and it's just a lot of work and a lot of practice.
Oh yeah.
I would just say trying to connect tumbling on the floor, just a bunch of the back stuff. So.
Oh yeah. So how do you guys warm up?
We start with a stretch, and we like to do a few little workouts just to warm up, and then after that we're just ready.
Nice. So what do you guys do during practices?
We do a lot of workouts in the beginning, and then we like to learn new moves. We like to listen to the coaches tell us what to do. They tell us, they critique us the whole time, so we just make sure that we're perfect and spot on with everything.
Nice. So how do you guys prepare yourselves like before meets?
We like to, well, the day before meet, we always do our routines. We don't have to go over the top. We'd like to just do our routine, get out of there, go home, eat healthy, and then the next day is come back and compete.
Nice.
Yeah, we definitely, depending on where we are, rather if we're home or away, we definitely need to set up the gym if we're home. It looks a lot different than at practice than at a meet because we have the wall up in between the rubber gym and our gym, so we get a lot more space to move everything around.
Nice. Do you guys prepare yourselves differently between events or just one straight warm-up and you're good?
Just usually one straight warm-up. Sometimes, depending on how hard it is or the skill you're doing, you gotta warm up for that.
Yeah. So like, what are some of the risk factors that come with being a gymnast?
Honestly, you just gotta stretch a lot, because if you don't stretch, you're gonna pull a muscle, you're gonna get injured, and it's gonna hurt a lot the next day. So.
Yeah, I would just definitely say the injuries, they add up. Once you get hurt once, you really don't want to keep pushing something. If you really hurt, then you shouldn't really be doing anything at all.
So you're going into your 2020 season. What are you looking forward to?
Winning in states, because we're looking really good this year, so I'm pretty excited to see how we're gonna do.
Nice. So what are your meets like?
Well, it starts off with everyone watching that one person on that one event, and it's pretty nerve-wracking when you're that one guy, but everyone takes their turns, then the other team goes, and then we wait for the judges to score us. So.
Nice. So if you could compete in any of the girls' events, what would you compete in?
I'll take that one. I guess maybe like parallel bars. It kind of seems a little bit more fun, I guess.
All right. Let's see. So what have you guys learned from Coach Marino and Coach B?
We've learned a lot. We learned just to be really persistent, just to make sure you're on task, make sure you're focused. Because if you fool around, they don't take that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Mr. B and Marino, they've just been in the school system for such a long time, and they're just familiar with kids our age. Even they just help a lot with school, anything we have for questions. A lot of kids go to them for a lot of stuff. Mr. B is always in the locker room pretty much year round with like doing his equipment, so he's always around. People are always talking to him. They're great.
Nice. So like, how do you guys come up with routines?
We start off by the coaches telling us what we should do. So they'll tell us a move and they'll break it down for us, and we'll stretch, take one step at a time, and then from there we'll just do what we can.
Yeah, each event has a certain level of skills that need to be like put together, so each move is going to have a certain skill level, and you just kind of progress as you go throughout. So they kind of give you just a basic routine, and if you have a certain strong suit and a certain move, they just keep pushing that until you get that to be stronger.
Nice. So what are some of your best wins?
Our best wins, probably any meet against Lowell, to be honest, just because we're always very conditioned, probably one of the most conditioned teams in the league, in my opinion. So, yeah.
I would say usually when we're at Braintree, it's always I feel like it's usually between us and them for who's fighting to go after Newton. So whenever we catch the win there, it's always good to see where we stand.
Nice. So you guys don't really compete against like teams in the Middlesex League. You guys compete like outside of that, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Why do you guys do that?
There's not many teams. There's only like a very few teams, so it's hard to find like people to go against. So
yeah, it's very hard for some of the schools to just have an athletic department that can fund all of the equipment because everything's pretty expensive, and to furnish a whole gym is probably a lot. They're gonna need to have kids that are dedicated to continue to have the sport.
Yeah. So if you could take one thing away from being a gymnast, what would that be?
Well, I guess we just have you learn to do a lot of different things. You just get to learn to fight through. We have a bunch of different kids who have done sports or have not done sports, who've just done different sports, and everyone just kind of has to go together to do one certain hard goal, and whether that's just conditioning that day or some kids just have trouble doing the warm-up in the beginning, running around the hallways. Just everything's a battle, and you just got to keep fighting through just till practice is over.
Yeah. So will you be continuing gymnastics in college?
I think I might be.
Nice.
It seems very interesting to me. I love the sport. I love learning new things, so I'm always down to just keep going with the sport.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hope to be back at the alumni meet and healthy enough for that in a year, but probably not too much organized gymnastics for me in the future.
So what's something you miss the most about gymnastics then?
Definitely the coaches. The coaches really teach you a lot, more than just moves. They teach you just how to be persistent, just how to be a better person overall, and just they're good guys.
Nice. So what's the different what are some of the differences between your team and like the girls' team?
I'd say we
Well, technically, I guess just practice schedule. We always have our practices right after school when we'll just practice with them on Monday and Tuesday. And then they'll have practices after us starting around like 6:15, 6:30. So that's just one.
All right. Is there anything I didn't ask about that you want to talk about, or?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, Coach Jourdan and B, they have everything on lock. They pretty much know everything that needs to be happening. And we just kind of follow them. We trust them enough with everything they say.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And that's all for this month's episode. I'd like to thank my guests, Assistant Coach Jourdan Marino, Captain Sam Gillis, Anthony Semeraro, and we'd like to thank you for watching. I'm your host, Liz Gillespie, and we will see you next time on BNEWS Sports Hub.